I am a very small town girl, as sophisticated as I am. I'm a very small town girl. I came from a very small town in Hawaii. Not a whole lot of traffic, not a whole lot of activity, not a big city at all. So the quiet was something that I learned to live with, and then I wanted to get away from for a minute, and now I miss. So I couldn't wait to leave home, see what the world was like, see all the different people in it. And then I learned how to kind of balance that out. I went through a lot of experiences, kind of shell shocked to so much going on in the world, and then missing my small town of Hilo, and then trying to balance how that worked out, how that's going to work out for me, and how I can continue to move forward in my life, and knowing that I have the options to do either one. One of the things that I really missed was how active I was at home, and I didn't really realize that until I came to the mainland and thought all I'm doing is working and I'm not doing anything else. So one of the great things that I love doing here is working out, going to the gym, meeting with my trainer, just being fit and being stronger. Late in life, I learned I was diabetic. And it is still my goal to not be diabetic anymore. But one of the things that's really important for me is to stay strong and stay fit so that my body can adjust to and fight off different things that occur with a degenerative disease like this. I also found myself in a really big depression for about 10 years. And I gained a significant amount of weight until one day I woke up and I didn't even recognize myself. I hadn't looked at myself in the mirror for a really long time. And when I finally did, I realized I don't know who that is looking at me. So I spent a couple of years just trying to get myself back in shape. And so one of the things I no longer compromise on is my health. Yeah. And part of that has to do with trying to eat the right things, which I'm not always good at. But I do try to focus on it, and getting my workouts in as much as I can.
So tell me about the first time you ever received Reiki and what made you want to try it.
That's really interesting. The first time I came to see you was really because I was a little bit at the end of my rope. I feel like, after the significant amount of time I've spent on this earth, I kind of know who I am and know my ups and downs and my moods, and of course, love them because they're mine. But it was very strange to feel so unhappy, so angry all the time, so like dark cloud, very heavy. It was a feeling that I didn't want to have anymore, and I didn't know what to do with it, where it was coming from, what's going on.
Right.
And so, being at the end, and having tried all of this stuff, self-talking, and trying to talk yourself up in the mirror, and even gratitudes were not enough. And so, coming to see you was for a lot of different reasons, but it was also to find another way to resolve that for me, and to figure out what it is that's going on with me, and how I can break out of it, because I couldn't break out of it on my own. So Reiki was new for me. It's something that I have always been very interested in. I'm a big alternative solution type of person. I'm willing to try all kinds of things as long as it works. I'm very pragmatic about it.
Right.
And this was the first time for me. I will say that I wasn't necessarily skeptical, but not knowing what it all involved and what it was supposed to happen for me, I was so pleasantly surprised and amazed, actually, at how effective it really was to lift spirits and to make me feel better about who I am and kind of life in general, actually, in a way.
Right. And so much so that you were part of my first ever Reiki class, or my Reiki certification class, January 2018. First,
Whoa.
yes, that's when you took the class. So yes, isn't that amazing?
I,
We're
that
in
doesn't,
2022 now.
oh
Yeah.
no, I can't believe that's 4 years ago. It almost feels like I can still see us in the room.
Yeah.
I can still see the group and how it was kind of touchy feely for a minute, like, well, okay, what do we do? What's going on here? And then it all sort of grooved. Yeah, I can't believe that was 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Crazy.
you kind of segued into the next question that I have is like, what are the types of people that you really are excited to serve? And you just mentioned when you came to see me, you needed help. You tried things on your own, but it was like, I need some extra help here to kind of get me unstuck or
Yeah.
shift out of this place.
Yeah.
So what types of people are you excited to work with and kind of share and serve?
So that was a major breakthrough for me. I don't feeling just blocked and stuck and just trapped where I was, and then breaking through that, little by little, and seeing light is the most amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to be part of someone else's journey to do that too. Because I'm one of those who can eat the same meal every day of my life, 3 times a day if that needs to be. So I'm not afraid of just a routine thing, but to feel stuck is something different. Like,
Right.
if I have the choice to have the same meal day in and day out, and I choose that, even though I have other choices, that's one thing. But to feel stuck and to have this is the only thing for me was not okay.
Right.
I would love to be able to help people to break past whatever is standing in their way, to help them move forward. Whatever forward is for them, whatever move on is for them, I would love to get them to be there. I also have encountered. I love animals.
Mm-hmm.
I love dogs, and
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's almost new for me to learn that they can suffer a lot of things that I never thought they could,
Right.
like tumors and cancers and just weird growths and things that go on. But it's sort of, I think, the same way that people do, based on their environments and what they've been eating and what they've been consuming and things that are around them. And so being able to also kind of lighten their loads,
Mm-hmm.
and give them just love and a place to kind of feel lighter about themselves too, is something that I would love to be able to do.
I share with you guys, pre-COVID, Reef, doesn't care to go to like Disneyland or anything where there's a lot of people. So what we do when we go on vacation is we go find an animal rescue, and we go and do that, donate money, and we go spend an hour or two there. And I usually email the head of the rescue or the nonprofit ahead of time, just explaining my background a little bit and asking if it's okay if I work on an animal or two while I'm there, and if they could pick one for me that has gone through a lot of trauma, from what they know before that they came to to a better place to be with them, a safer place for them. So a lot of them know the backstory of the animals, right? And I find that when I went down to San Diego and I worked with this nonprofit down there, she told me, she's like, I never thought about us having to treat the animal like spiritually and emotionally. I thought if I just provide food, if I just provide a safe space, that's enough. But I realized observing them, they still have trauma. Like, this one horse didn't let any adult touch it for a year, right? A year, didn't let anyone really touch it. So they had to feed, they couldn't brush it, like wash it, like barely, like no one could touch the horse for a year. And when I came and did Reiki, I was able to get within a foot of the horse.
Oh.
And I just met the horse, and they thought for sure the horse is just going to walk to the other end of the, the pen and be done, like with this girl, like she's probably not going to trust her. Yeah. And to see the horse trust me so quickly, they were fascinated, and they said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm just sending love, and I'm communicating energetically that I'm reminding the horse that she is safe here and she can trust these humans, and I'm telling her that you can trust them. And she was like, wow. And so even after we left, I got an email about a week later saying that they could still see the benefits of what I did, because she was actually more open to more human contact after I left. And that was like one session, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for us as a group. I was even thinking about this, maybe this year we go somewhere in the Bay Area together, like on a Saturday or something, and then just donate our time.
I would love that.
To working with the animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just know too. They just know. I feel like the ones that need it the most, that need that love, that need that kind of that energy, they actually will like run up to you.
Yeah.
And lean. They lean.
Yeah. I mean, you had the cat that kept coming around your house, like basically as like your pet, just kept coming, knew your schedule basically.
Yeah.
And you were feeding it and like just being very gentle with it and talking to it and having that energy exchange.
She was something. My neighbor's dog had cancer too, and so she had some tumors, and whenever I'd see her out, she would come right up to me and she'd like lean, like where her tumors were, she'd lean right on me. I'm like, oh, I love you, let me just love on you for a minute, and she would just get really quiet, and we would hang out for a minute. Yeah, it was great. She's better now, by the way.
Yes. And that's the thing, like animals and plants need Reiki too. Yes. Animals and plants both need Reiki. So if anyone wants to bring I never had anyone do this. They make me bless other things when they come to my office, like their purse, their cell phone, their wallet, their medications. But that would be really cool if someone brought their plant and was like, can you bless this too while you work on me,
That's really interesting.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're all connected, right? Everything is connected. So yeah, the whole plant thing makes total sense.
Yeah. Or when you do distance Reiki, like sometimes I do distance Reiki on somebody and their pet pops it in my head. And I go, oh, I got to give to both now, because the dog is saying, hello, me too. Yeah. Or in the mana sessions, they fall asleep. All the animals fall asleep. They just all the time. So after mana sessions, because I let the animals come in the room for free with their human, I always get pictures right after we finish the Zoom. I'll get a picture. They'll message me a picture. They're like, oh, look at my dog. They're like totally out, was totally awake before the Reiki, out after the Reiki. So just relaxed.
Wow.
They love it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Animals love it. Yeah. I was going to ask you as well, it's been a challenging year or two for people. Like there's a lot of reflecting going on, a lot of shifting happening, priorities being realized and changed for people, how they go about the world now, appreciating things that they probably took for granted before. What has been the greatest lesson or lessons for you in the last year or two?
I think there's been a lot of struggle. Everybody has gone through struggles. I'm not, and everybody has their own, and whatever is your own is the biggest thing ever, right? So I think we've all had to learn. We've all learned what things we've taken for granted, what things have been so free to us in the past that maybe are no longer so accessible, or maybe not accessible at all. And we've all had to adapt to that a little bit. But I think that there's also been a lot of fear cultivated in the last couple of years. There's crazy information, and somebody feeling one way about a thing and somebody else feeling another way about a thing, and it's causing conflict. One of the things I learned is that we really have the capacity to overcome these things, to overcome anything that we feel like we're stunted by or paralyzed by, whether it be fear or loss, or a sense of grief over something. I think that I've learned that we can be really, really strong, but we also need to remember that we can count on other people. And, things may not be so easy, but there's always someone there to support you. And I love being that someone for anyone who wants to be. But I also have had to overcome being paralyzed by my fears, because time is short. We don't have a lot of, we may or may not have the same types or the opportunities that we've had before. And so taking some risks, I think, is something that I've had to learn to do. And I feel like doing that, there's never a loss.
Right.
It's scary and it's kind of freaky, but taking that risk always goes forward. Yeah.
And you learn something. That's the whole point, right? It's like, you got to try and you learn. And if it's like, hey, I took 2 steps in a direction and maybe you're going to shift course now, but at least to your point, it's forward, right? Because if you take 2 steps forward and you go, let me shift course a little bit this way, it's still forward progression. You're shifting a little bit instead of being paralyzed and stuck in the same place, from 2 years ago or 5 years ago. And you're like, I'm in the same place. Like, let me just move the needle forward, lean into what I'm passionate about. Lean into the people that are supportive and that the energy feels good with this group of people. And really not take for granted the opportunities that are at our fingertips. Sometimes you're like, oh, we can do that later. It's like, no, the time is now.
And I think that it's a good time for us to also kind of open up and say, those things that I had focus on, there may be more. We can still focus on that, but what if there's something else? And what if that something else is the thing that might be even better than that thing that we had originally thought? I think we need to learn to kind of adapt to the world as it's going to be.
Exactly. I think the thing that paralyzes people is the analysis paralysis, when they're analyzing everything so much, overthinking. And also the thing that paralyzes people from taking a step forward is they want to see how it's all going to play out. And I'm like, you're not going to most times. You'd be bored in life if you had all that certainty. If you knew exactly how every minute of every day was going to play out, you know how bored you'd be. No surprises, right? So if they just take 2 steps, the next 2 steps are going to be revealed. And then the next 2 steps and the next 2 steps. You don't have to see the whole staircase. But if you just take the next 2 steps, then you'll see the next 2. And that's kind of how the how reveals itself to us. But if we just stay in the same place, the steps can be revealed, right? So just moving it forward, just having some progress, just saying yes to something that you've been, especially if people keep circling back to it, it's probably like, this is for you, this experience, this person, this class, this whatever it is that keeps circling back to people, opportunity, and just say yes to it and see how it goes.
I think I'm not so much looking forward to going back to normal as much as I'm looking forward to what's the new thing that's coming up.
I don't think we'll ever go back to how it was pre all of this. I think there is definitely a shift. And it's all about what we're choosing to focus on. Are we focusing on the good things that have come out of this? Or are we focusing on the negative things that have come out of this? And so you create, or whoever's watching this creates their own reality. In any given point in time, they can shift their focus and shift their reality based on what they're focusing on. And that's so powerful to know that you're in charge ultimately of where you're putting your focus.
Because we're steering our own ships. So wherever it goes is where we're leading it to go. It's what's coming is so exciting. What's now is so bright. It's exciting.
And I've known you for a long time. And so I really, really hope people fill out that form and reach out to you and book a session with you, book a 15-minute discovery call or consultation with you over the phone and see how they can get started on their healing journey, releasing anything holding them back, getting unstuck, healing from some past, issues, or healing physically, wherever they are in life, moving that needle forward closer to where they want to be, wherever that is, whatever state, this beautiful state, vibration that they want to be in, moving closer to that, with these beautiful decisions that they're making and saying yes to themselves. Saying yes to themselves.
I so want to be, I want to be part of that journey. Yeah, that's going to be great. I'm so excited.
So reach out to Leona. Thank you, Leona, for doing this. And I can't wait to see all the people and animals and plants that you get to help in 2022.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.